Hello, hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to DAVI Davenport Live. I'm super excited. Thank you so much for anyone that's in LA on this rainy Wednesday. I have to tell you guys a funny story once we get into the segment. But I got soaking wet today coming out of Rouse. I went to a grocery store and I came out. I left my umbrella in the car, pouring. Now, today's topic, and first of all, I'm so excited that we're here together today. You know, I love you all. We usually do Sundays together. This week, last Sunday, I had a wonderful time over at Eugene Sidney's 64th birthday. And it also was the day that he gave media awards to people that were absolutely amazing. I was honored to be one of the recipients. This is my third award that I've gotten with Eugene. So shout out to Eugene and everything. And happy birthday to you again. We have some great things that are up our sleeves. So up our sleeves. And this coming Sunday, I'm super excited. I'm so excited that I'll be at Vibratos this week. And I'm going to be with Honeycomb, my favorite. I love these girls. They're absolutely incredible when I tell you that their performances are beyond anything you've ever seen. And think about this also, they have the members of Earth, Wind, and Fire backing them up. Exactly. They're married to them, guys. They're married to them. So super excited. Tonight, I wanted to talk to you about something that is very, very close to my heart. And it means a lot to me. And thank you for everyone that's tuning in. I see you guys coming in. Thank you so much to Instagram, to YouTube, to Facebook. I appreciate we're live on all of the platforms right now. So I'm very excited about that. And I'm honored every time I have the chance to be here with you guys. The topic that we're talking about tonight is a topic that is very close to my heart because I've had the opportunity, and I'm going to call it an opportunity, and different times, different emotions are on high. I have a wonderful guest that's going to be joining me that is a caregiver currently for her sister, and it's her autistic sister. I have some clips that I'm going to be sharing of one of my friends that couldn't make it on tonight. However, she shared a few pictures with me. She's the caregiver for her mother who had a massive stroke. And then also her husband, actually, here's the catch to it, her ex-husband. Michelle, you're hilarious, but you're a big heart. She's taking care of her husband, her ex-husband, who has Alzheimer. And so today's segment is about being the caregiver. And I had the opportunity to be the caregiver for my mother when my mother was diagnosed with cancer, when her cancer came back. She was originally diagnosed in 1999. Was doing fantastic, and then came out of remission 7 years later. And actually, my mother and my grandmother, they were my caregivers when I was fighting for my life with cancer. I'll actually say that the caregiver is so important, and that's why this segment is special to me. Make sure everything's looking cute here, okay? That's why this segment is special to me. I kind of got ready quick, guys. I wanted to talk about the caregiver because the caregiver is that person who is there for you when it's pouring, raining. The caregiver also at the same time has their very own life that's going on at the same time. And my brother, my amazing brother, is my father's caregiver right now. I love you so much, Tony. You're doing an amazing job. So proud of you. If you're tuning in, so proud of you. The caregiver is someone that is there when the rain is heavy, when the snow is there. That caregiver is there to love you. I was actually talking to L.A. Lim, and L.A. Lim is superstar Sunday personality on DAVI Radio Los Angeles. Lim, I love you. He was the caregiver with his mother and father. And Lim was going to join me this evening, and we're also celebrating Women's History Month. Like when we talked about Black history, I'm a woman every day, so every day is Women's History Month for me, guys. But today we want to go ahead and wrap our arms around that. Amber's going to be joining us right now, and Amber Perkins, who's also one of my EXP Realty business partners and someone that I highly respect in the real estate industry. We do great things together. We just did a huge real estate buyers event on Saturday. It was incredible. Thank you, Maisha Movement Mortgage, for helping us to make it happen and allowing us to utilize your office space that we needed to. So thank you so much. So today I'm going to bring Amber on, and I appreciate all of you here with us. We're going to talk to you today about what that experience is as being a caregiver. I have some statistics I want to share. I have some questions some notes that I took as well that I'm going to be asking Amber. And also, you guys can chime in if you have some things that you'd like to add. I'm definitely going to have the comments are open. If you want to make any comments at all, please, please, please do. I'm going to bring my amazing guest on, Amber Perkins. Amber, welcome aboard. There she is. Hey, superstar, how are you? What's going on, girl?
Hello, 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 everyone. Good
Hey,
evening.
looking all cute over there. Look at you. Like, I'm like, what time is it? 6 o'clock. Looking like she just got up, girl. Okay. Absolutely amazing. Amber, I really appreciate you joining me. I know you were running around with clients today and getting some things done. So to think that, yeah, no, you didn't give the eye. We're caregivers with our clients also. So absolutely. I shared with the guest of Davi Davenport Live, and I'm so excited. Davi Davenport Live has been a show that's been around, actually, I would say for 30 years, more years than you're alive, which is crazy when I say that. And I look at you and I go, wow, but the maturity that you have, sometimes I forget that you are a millennial in your 20s and because you're doing so many great things. I wanted to invite you on today because you're doing something that I highly respect, and that is you're caregiving for your sister with your mother. And
Mhm.
you also are one of the primary caregivers. Every day you're getting her to adult daycare and other things that I want you to share with the audience. But today we're also going to talk, and I have some questions that I put down in my handy little device. But you asked me something the other day when we were together. You said, Davi, can I also talk about, because I said, my show is all about positivity and we're going to make sure. And you said, yeah, yep, yep, yep. You said, can I also talk about some of the real things that are going on? And to be honest with you, I have some of the same real experiences. I can remember wanting to be everything and still figuring out how can I be everything for myself as well. So I was also blessed to be the caregiver for my grandmother until she took her last breath with my uncle. My uncle and I were her caregivers together. And if he's tuning in, I love you very much. I was the primary caregiver, but he supported me every single day. He was there rocking it out. And that was amazing. So, Amber, I just like to, first of all, invite you in to just introduce yourself, tell you the viewer of Davi Davenport Live, tongue-tied, a little bit about you. And then we're going to go ahead and I want to open up for some of the questions.
Yes, hello, everyone. Thank you for having me on. So, my name is Amber Perkins, as you can see,
Funny.
and I am a real estate agent. So, I do work alongside with Davi as well. Oh, there we go. I do work. I do work alongside Davi as well. You know, she does mentor me in the real estate space, and I've been doing that about 2 years now. Before that, I was actually in healthcare. So I've had pretty much of a switch, grew up doing just different sports and doing all kind of stuff. And then I eventually went to healthcare. I wanted to be a physician assistant. So got my bachelor's of science in kinesiology, thinking I was going to go into sport med and everything. COVID hit, took a turn, and here we are now. Got into finances and real estate, and just happy to be in this space. You learn a lot as you go. You learn a lot, and it's always a learning experience. Like every single day is like a learning experience. I learn something new every single day. So,
Yes. The
I
wonderful thing that you said also, Amber, is by you being in the healthcare profession before, prior to, and some people that are caregiving for their loved ones don't have that. They don't have that insight. They haven't been, like, I wasn't a healthcare professional. I never was. And so therefore it was from love from my heart. Imagine you have both of those things. And that's absolutely amazing. So I did take a few notes that I want to now, Amber, how do you, and I'm going to discuss it as well. Michelle could not join us tonight. She said that, I'm going to tell you what she really said, guys. And if she's watching, she's going to be mad at me. She said, girl, it's 9 o'clock here in Atlanta. And girl, I'm going to be in bed. She said, I'm going to have on my PJs. I said, okay, girl. But she did support and send over some. Amber, how do you actually balance your work life? Because again, I know that you're a realtor. How do you balance your caregiving responsibilities at the same time. And and Michelle says she's watching. There she is. I love you, girl. Thank you so much. I have a couple pictures that I'm sharing that you sent over as well, and I love you. And feel free to chime in the chat box if you want to with some of the things that you want to add with some of the questions. So how do you balance that with and not where it doesn't make you uncomfortable? Because you are a millennial, you're in your 20s, and you're one of the primary caregivers for your amazing sister. You guys are my family as well. I love it when I'm at your home and I'm with your family. You guys are incredible. How is that for you? You're 27 years old, and a woman would kill me if I told her age if she was older, but you're 27, so I can say yours. You're 27 years old. So how is that for you, being one of the primary caregivers and balancing your life?
Um, you know, it's definitely it definitely takes its toll. I feel like, especially at the age that I'm at now, you know, in your 20s, it's supposed to be about living and exploring and living life and, you know, things like that. But a lot of my time, because I have to, you know, change my schedule a lot. I do have to prioritize that. And a lot of times, you know, I have to make time for things and run my real estate around, you know, caring for my sister, whether it's picking her up or taking her to her day program that she goes to. My sister has severe autism. And so it can be quite difficult actually, because it's also a journey where you have to learn patience. You know, patience is the number one thing I feel like when it comes to that kind of thing. And, you know, I give props to people like nurses and just caretakers in general, and, you know, LVNs who are, you know, doing all kinds of stuff, you know, but it definitely takes its toll. You know, it has its ups and downs. Some days are better than others. But honestly, you know, I'm glad she has someone that she can go to if anything were to happen to my mom, you know, because we're both co-conservators for
Okay.
her.
I was going to ask you that. I was going to
Yeah.
ask you. Okay.
We're both co-conservators for her. So if anything were to happen to my mom, you know, I'm the next one in charge. So yeah,
You
I
know
mean,
what's crazy, Amber?
yeah.
When I was fighting for my life with cancer, my mother and my grandmother were my caregivers. My mother was my primary caregiver, which I needed one. And my grandmother was my son's caregiver for me at that time, because it looked like, from what the doctors were saying, it was 6 months to live. So the doctors were saying it was, you know, this was it. It was over. You know, I needed to get someone to take care of my son. And for anyone that's tuning out and tuning in right now, what's up, LA Lim? I love you. Superstar Sunday personality. Lim, I love you. I love you. Lim was also the caregiver, one of the primary caregivers for his mother and for his father. Um, Let me go back to, I almost forgot what I was saying, Amber. I'm so crazy. But, I was going to ask you, just doubling back, I lost my train of thought when I saw Lim come on right there, but I was going to ask you about, were you, and this was not the question at all, but were you, how did you, girl, I'm so mad at myself for getting the question. Now, you're not interviewing with you this out. You said to us that if something happened to your mother, and I was speaking about for my son, it looked like, at that point, because the doctor said 6 months to live, this was everything. It looked like a possibility that I was going to have to, my mother was going to have to take care of my son, and my mother and my grandmother were going to, just in case. But God told me something different. He said He only wanted my testimony. I lost train of thought there. So I understand, if it was not for my mother and my grandmother as my caregivers, I say to myself, and sometimes I ask my doctor, do you think the stress of my cancer brought my mother's cancer back out? She was my caregiver. She was caring for me. And this was something that was plaguing me for years. Sometimes I still think about it. I wonder, and you said just now, you said, hey, I'm in my 20s and whatever. So I have a couple caregivers that I spoke to, a young lady that's on Instagram. I love her, Andrea. She's caring for her mother who has Alzheimer's. She's devoted her entire life. Like my brother, who devoted his entire life to taking care of my father. So, and I did the same thing with my mother and my grandmother. So, and they did the same for me. So you said, well, you wonder sometimes, like, I'm 20, what happened to this? People have those experiences. That's more. And Lim just said the last 5 years of my father's life that he was the caregiver for his father, one of the primary caregivers. So that is, and and if it wasn't for, and again, if it wasn't for my mother and my grandmother, and I know for your sister because I've met her, if it wasn't for, if your mother had to do that on her own, that would be very difficult, and we know it for sure, Amber. So I definitely, I was going to ask you what motivated, but what is your daily motivation to continue to push through, to be that support system, not just to go through the motions, but to actually push through? Because when you're someone's caregiver, if you love them, you're supposed to be inspiring them. Sometimes we go inside the bathroom and we close the door and we go, ah! But the majority of the time, we actually are there to. So, what is it how do you make sure that you're staying motivated as you're the character, and how are you making sure that you motivate your sister as well?
That's a good question. So I just feel like, I just have that feeling that I have to do it because nobody else can do it, so I have to do it. And it's just where that sense of just immediate family, like, you just do for your family. And that's what really just keeps me to do it, because it's definitely not for everybody. It's definitely, I feel like the average person probably could not handle what it takes in the mental capacity and everything. And a lot of times, like, I get very upset, I get very frustrated. And it's really hard not to, because you are dedicating part of your life for someone else. And so I feel like what really keeps me, and I constantly see my mom, she's tired, she's almost 60. So she's tired, she's getting older, and just having to take my sister to her doctor's appointments, having to do her hair, just the grooming.
Love. You're seeing what your mother sacrificed is inspiring for you as well, which that's just thinking about, that's a very giving spirit. So
yeah, and on top of that, my mom was a cancer survivor too, and so it's already hard to be doing that. So you can imagine having a severely autistic child, on top of all of that. I can't imagine, if I, God forbid, I had cancer and had to do all of that.
Well, you're very, one thing for sure, that God made us in such a way, and this is the great thing of it is, this is Davi Davenport Live, so I can say this without, normally, like, if I'm with a student or something, I go, that's Davi Davenport speaking, not, EXP Realty. Now I can say this is Davi Davenport speaking. Okay. The wonderful thing about it is that, when you think about, you coming from love and contribution, with what you said about your mother, and, you see your mother, God made us, and crazy as it is, because sometimes I say to myself, God, you are amazing. I say that all the time. He made us so strong that think about the weight that men and women carry in their lives. I think about the things that we do. I reflect back on my brother, who I've seen lift my 300-pound father. He's not 300 pounds anymore, but when he was 280 pounds, I've seen my brother lift him off the floor out of love. He's also really strong. He's 6'7", and he's super strong. But it's also out of love he did that. So when you say that, sometimes you wonder, how your mother's able to do that. And that's why you always have to cheer her on. How your mother's able to do that. And for anyone that's tuning in, your mother's able to do that. And for everyone that's out there, you're able to do that because we have that energy that God gives us. See, that faith that God gives us, and also that spirit that he gives. And that's what your mother does. But then here you come to help your mother, to say to her, you can do this also. Remember, keep cheering her on. I'm proud of you for that. I am so proud of you for that. Amber, I want to ask you something. How do you prioritize yourself? I see you going to a lot of parties. You go to more weddings than anybody I've ever seen in my life, honey. Every time I look up, you at a wedding with a little outfit on. But how do you prioritize? I know you have, you know, I know you don't mind me saying this, but you have an amazing young man that you go out with. He's incredible. I mean, look at the way he showed up for us at the event. He's setting up things, sticking things in folders for us and everything. What an incredible person. How do you make sure that you, the millennial, you, Amber Perkins, you, the realtor that's building a new career, you that's everywhere I ask you, can you go? You're always there to do it some kind of way. How do you prioritize yourself? What do you do daily to make sure that you're saying, I still need to make Amber a priority as well?
Yeah. So that's a good question. So I prioritize the weekends, definitely. The
Okay.
weekends, I'm like, that is my thing. I'm taking time for myself
Okay.
and whatever work needs to be done, of course. But my Saturdays, Sundays, even Friday evenings, I'm like, that is my time. I'm
Yeah.
home all week, and that time is my time. Um, and then also like during the week, I mean, like if it's urgent, if it's like a client need and I have to do it, then I will prioritize that like within reason. Like if it's something where my sister needs to be picked up from her day program, I'll
Okay.
ask my mom if and it's at the same time, it's crazy because my mom, she still has to leave work early. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, but I would say more on the weekends and in the evenings, when everything is dying down, everybody is just resting. I prioritize the evenings and the weekends mainly because, if I don't, I feel like I'll lose my mind. So,
We don't want you to do that. Okay.
yeah, I don't want to lose my mind.
And another
Yeah.
thing that you do that I like, and it's something that I fortunately, it's a part of my life as well. One of the users says, always need others to help. That's a beautiful thing. And George said, amen. Is eating healthy and working out, you're pretty conscious of. That's why we spend a lot of time together. And I enjoy that, when we're talking, it's motivational. I told you the other day, I said, for me, I mean, I have to make sure that the people that are around me, my immediate surroundings, are positive at all times. So, you're always working out. You inspire me. You got me entering the Pilates world now. And people have been talking to me Pilates forever. And all of a sudden, I see you, I see the results, and I see also the inner and the outer glow from it. So, and then eating right as well. So it's really important for anyone that's out there right now. Also, I just want to pop this up, guys. We know for a fact that a lot of times things happen in life, and this is nothing to be embarrassed about. If anyone is out there, you or anyone that might be a caregiver, and maybe it's too much on them right now. Someone may say, well, that would never happen. We don't know what would ever happen. But if you or anyone that is thinking about harming themselves, please go to the suicide hotline at 800-273-8255. Even if you know of someone, we always say that would never be me. That would never be, that would never think. Well, I'm sure that everyone that ever did that thought that it would never be them as well. So, and also, guys, if you're out there as well, please, 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 if there's anything going on with any domestic violence inside of your household, a lot of times, and this is very real because I'm going to share some statistics today. A lot of times there's violence that happens with the caregiving position. And so I don't know if that would also be considered domestic violence, but it would be some sort of a family violence. So we want to be careful. If you're out there right now and you're experiencing something, I have some actual clips that I'm going to share of some people that are caregivers for people that shouldn't be because they're harming them. These elderly people have black eyes and things like that, because a lot of times people that shouldn't be caregivers get stressed out, guys. So super, super excited. And then one thing for sure, if you're out there right now and you're struggling with homelessness, please do not feel like, oh my God, I'm all by myself. You're not. You can call United Way at 211. That is a universal number, 211. I know it is for the United States. Please, please, please don't hesitate. Let someone know. Let someone know you need help. Someone said earlier, you need to be able, what was the exact comment that someone said right here? Everyone has their breaking point. Thank you so much. Everyone has their breaking point. So that is, and then also, guys, I want to run this by because I have to say that we got my boy LA Lim on here. Man, make sure you check out LA Lim every single Sunday on DAVIRadiolive.com. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to go to DAVIRadiolive.com. That's LA Lim is on every single Sunday. Check out your girl. We got some new things going. Amber and I are about to do a real estate talk show on there. We're giving you all the details and sharing all the receipts. But LA Lim is on from 2 to 6 p.m. every single Sunday. And he brings you that old school, new school heat like nobody else does. I'm super excited. So, Amber, you shared today about, about how you made sure that you prioritized yourself. And one of the things also I'd like to ask you, what is a typical day? Like, give me the real, what's a typical day? And then also I'd like you just to add into that something that it makes it an amazing day and something that could make it for you and your sister and your mother potentially. And also something that's an amazing day. When this happens, this just makes it on fire. And then something else that might happen that throws that day off, because somebody's going to see this. Someone's watching right now. Michelle is right now taking care of her mother who had a triple stroke, her ex-husband who's Alzheimer's. She every single day. That's really why she couldn't come on tonight for real, because she's got her hands full already. That's the truth, Michelle. I love you, and I'm going to share some things. As a matter of fact, let's go. We'll share that. Let me not break up here. What is a very good day for you when you say this is a good day for us? And what would make it potentially, share a real experience if you can? What would make it a not so good day? If this happened, you say, you know what, this was something that disturbed my sister and our routine.
Oh gosh. Good.
Where to start, huh?
Right.
Give us a good day first, girl.
Oh, okay. So a good day is when, so let's say, for example, every single morning I have to take my sister to her day program because the transportation for this, the whole thing is like so understaffed that we've been waiting for like 2 years for the transportation just to like get in line so she can take the bus there. So they don't have that. So I have to do it. So the every single time we have to, and there she goes right there trying to see what I'm doing.
Tell her say
hi. So every single day I have to take her to her program at 9 a.m. And a perfect day is when, I tell her, hey, we go to the bathroom before we go because she's severely autistic. So she finds comfort in the bathroom, or she'll find comfort in her routine. And, like autistic kids, like they don't want to be, what's the word? They want a constant routine. They have to do the same thing every single day. They don't want anything interrupted with that. Yes. So a perfect day is me telling her, okay, we're leaving in 10 minutes. Like, go to the bathroom, go do what you got to do before we leave. She does it. We head out. We get into the car, and then we go. And I take her to the program.
Okay.
And a great day is if she has a great day at her program, then I pick her up and everything, and she's fine. Cool. It goes on the iPad. Cool. And so usually that'll be like, just that, me taking her, and then when she gets home, a good day is like, her literally just listening to us, not trying to, just act out, because a lot of times, the kids with autism, they like to act out because they like to get attention. It's like,
how old is your sister, Amber?
She's 25.
Okay. So you guys are really close in age in theory.
Yeah, so we're only 2 years apart. Mm-hmm. So she is 25, and honestly, like a good day is just sticking to the routine. Nothing happens, but that's kind of far and few between.
So, Amber, can I ask you a question here? Is there ever a time, if this isn't too personal, but have there ever been a time where you said to God or to the universe or to yourself, have you ever said, why us?
All the time. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And that's one thing like I really have to work on, because my patience has gotten like very small. I feel like just over the time, just being frustrated, just everything being on me and my mom, like, it's frustrating. So A bad day. So we can talk about a bad day because
You know what? You know what? One of the actual supporters said right here. They said when the patient falls or get really ill, then you know that's a bad day. And then that same person said when they do or say something and laugh out loud, funny, which is a good day. And it says this makes you smile, that knowing that you're doing something right. That is true. When you're a caregiver and you see that person smile, when my grandmother would laugh with me and I knew I did something right. It made me feel so good. We wore matching pajamas, girl, every day just because I wanted to see a smile on her face. My uncle would say, "You so corny." I go, "Whatever." But so get back to you. And I wanted to just make sure I appreciate the supporters so much, guys. Thank you so much for being here today and for always supporting Davi Davenport Live. There would not be, I want to say this, and Amber's going to give us an example of a bad day, but I want to say this right now. You know, there's been times when I have had bad days and you guys supported me. You didn't even know it sometimes. You supported me, whether it's you cheering me on Facebook, or when I lost my grandmother, my heart was broken and you guys were messaging me and just sending me positive energy. Or when my grandmother was alive and I didn't want to have a breaking point because I wanted to be there. But as another one says, everybody has a breaking point. That's when my uncle would jump in and say, "You're getting out of this house today." So I just want to tell you guys, thank you. Thank you so much. Lynn was checking on me all the time when everything was going on. Also, like, I want to tell you, I love that man. LA Lim, that's my guy right there. That's for sure. Amber, give us a bad day. Give us a bad day.
Let's give one example, shall we? So
Girl, get crazy.
oh my gosh. The other day was it yesterday? I think yesterday, the day before. So it was like, I think it was a Monday or Tuesday. Yes, I think it was Monday. So it was time for us to leave. And I'm like in the morning, like I'm scheduling like these last minute showings for these clients. I mean, that's a whole nother frustration there. So I'm scheduling all these showings for these clients. And then, you know, I'm telling my sister, "Hey, it's time to go. Let's go."
Yes.
She doesn't want to get off her iPad. And I'm like, I have to go because as soon as I drop you off, I got to get up out of here. Like I need to go be somewhere. So I can't be there. So, you know, she was playing a game. She did not want to get off. I don't know what was going on with the game, but she did not want to get off the game.
She was not happening.
She was just sitting there. And I was like, "Okay, you either get up now and we go, or you're going to have to wait until I'm done with this." Because, you know, if I don't take her by 10, then she can't go for the day.
Okay.
So at one point I was like, "Get up now and I'm going to take the iPad away. I'm taking it because you're not getting up." So I took the iPad away and like, I feel like the world was ending. Like,
no.
You know, when you take an object out of like autistic person's hands, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, they have a fit, right? So I took the iPad out of her hand and she starts screaming, and then she starts like, she does this a lot, like she hits her head. And so I was like, "Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to make note of that you hit your head and you're not getting your iPad back." So then she's screaming, she's crying, she's hitting her head and everything. And then she tries to get the iPad back from me, and she tries to wrestle me for the iPad. And so this is my sister, you know, she's my height.
Wrestle you?
Oh yes. Yes. So she's my height, you know, she's a little thicker than I am. She's big and strong. So this is not no small thing. My sister has like the strength of 6 men. Like, she's very strong. And that's another thing with autistic people. And so anyway, so she tries to wrestle me for the iPad. And, you know, no matter what you do, like if you try to like hit her to get her off of you, if you try to kick her off of you, it's like she doesn't feel pain. So it is continuous. So I'm just like, get off of me.
Let's double back before somebody ends up messaging me after we get off the show and said, "Did she say hit her, kick her?" She does not mean hit her, kick her hard, guys, because my people will call and be like, "Do we need to call somebody?" No, guys. We don't need
my gosh.
No. This is a disclaimer. She doesn't mean hit or kick, okay?
No. So anyway, so I try to get her off of me, but then so that ruined her whole routine. So now we're
Mhm.
even more delayed to get to the program. So
Sure.
then, she cries, she goes in the bathroom for I don't know how long, but in the meantime, like I have stuff to do. So that's an example. So I was late to whatever I had to do that day.
Mhm.
So that's an example of a bad day because, basically her routine was stopped. My routine was delayed. I had to be somewhere.
Yeah.
And, it's very frustrating. It's just very frustrating.
You know
So,
what's crazy for it? Thank you so much for sharing that one with us, Amber. I'm going to give an
yeah.
example of a bad day for me with my grandmother. I'll give a good day, and one of the viewers said, a good day is to see them smiling. The greatest day for me was if my grandmother, just makes me emotional thinking about it. The greatest day for me was if my grandmother ate all her food, or if she drank the water, an X amount of water, because as the days started, as now I know that God was calling her home, as the days started to, you know, trinkle, for the lack of a better word, she didn't want much water. Some of you might be dealing that with your loved one, where they just start not wanting water. I remember when that happened with my mother as well. So a good day for me was, and it's hard to get emotional. It makes me emotional when I think about it, but a good day for me was when my grandmother ate, or if she would do 2 bottles of the water. We started getting flavored water. We started doing whatever. And one of the worst days for me was when I was in the kitchen with my grandmother and I had fixed her breakfast, because a good day was, but I always wanted her to be happy. But for me, the worst day that ever happened was when I didn't realize she couldn't walk anymore. So I said to her, I said, "Can you stand up so we can get you back to the bathroom?" And she had been walking the day before, slow, but she had been walking. And when my grandmother stood up and I went for her arm like I normally would, her knees buckled and she fell to the floor. And I was devastated. I was devastated. I was devastated. I couldn't believe it because my whole world was revolving around taking care of her. It was us. We lived together. I moved back home. I gave her a 2-week notice. I said, "I'm coming home." She said, "For what?" I said, "I'm coming to be with you." Normally she would say, "Girl, no, you're not. You're not doing that." But this time she said, "We have to listen to the signs too with our people when and she said, "You truly have to keep them emotionally balanced and not depressed because they're struggling with their disability and needs." That's true. Absolutely. But that moment, when she fell, for me, I felt like a failure. I had to have my uncle talk me out of it because I said, "How can I let this happen?" But he said, "Well, she was walking the day before, so you didn't know she was walking that morning." But her mind was starting to disconnect with some of the day-to-day things now that I'm looking forward. It wasn't that she became ill, and her body just started to shut down. And so therefore it was something that was for me one of the worst. My best days were when I knew that she was eating. I want to share something with you guys also, that was very, very important to me. But this was, I always will remember when my dog, when Basquiat but that one was. But we had a great time. I want to say thank you so much. My friend Michelle also sent us a photo over. That's Michelle caring for her mother there. Michelle, thank you so much. And her mother has had a triple stroke, and that's her mother actually reading. So her mother's 100% inside. She just can't care for herself right now, and that is what's going on. I wanted to share a couple things. I put a few notes inside of here, but it says over 53 million people in the United States provide unpaid care to an adult family member or friend, according to the National Alliance for Caregiving and also with ARP. And this says caregivers spend an average of 24.4 hours a week providing care with nearly 40, it says 24.4 hours a week providing care, with nearly 1 in 4 spending 41 hours or more per week with their caregiving task. And then it says family caregivers provide an estimated $470 billion worth of unpaid care. And that is, and it's so incredible when we think about, when I look at Michelle here with her mother, and I see her there caring for her mother. You know what it really takes me to, guys? It takes me to thinking, what about the people that don't have the caregivers? What is that like for them? There's so many people that are out there that don't have anyone to care for them. And that is something that, we don't think about it. And now I want to ask you something, Amber, and man, I can't believe this interview is going by so fast. You're an amazing person. I love you, love you, love you. How has being a caregiver affected your emotional life? Like, what has it done for you emotionally?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. So, like, how do I explain it? So, basically, I feel like it's made me like very frustrated.
Yes.
Like, a lot of times I feel on edge. Like there are times when like I'm out and smiling and stuff, and then you just go home and it's like you just want to cry. I feel like, um, but honestly, like it's really frustrating too, because then you have a mother in the house who's frustrated as well. And so like we're both frustrated, and we're going back and forth a lot of times, and it's just, I feel like it's been very hard, but sometimes you just gotta cry it out and then pray about it and then keep it moving, keep it pushing. Oh, you're muted. You're muted, Davi.
I wanted to share. I still have the baby that was on the bed. My grandmother made this for my mother. You talked about emotionally. Sometimes I'll grab this baby and hug this baby at night and think about my mother and my grandmother, and it'll support, because someone said here, you have to balance yourself emotionally also. And you said something, gone. Oh man, her pants fell down. My grandmother killed me. She's like, wait, her pants are down on national television.
Ah.
At the end of the day is sometimes we have to just cry.
Mhm.
Sometimes we have to, you know what I do? I'll just go take a long walk on the beach and I just walk. Sometimes people, I think they know me because I'll just walk, but I know they know me, but sometimes I think they know when not to say anything to me because I'll just be on that pace and I just walk it out, walk it out, walk it out. Or sometimes I'll talk to myself about it. But what I really do is I talk to God about it when those emotions get too high, especially by you and I being in a very intense business where the emotions can already get crazy. We're dealing with other people's emotions. Well, that's another show, honey. Before you kick into that one, you look like, oh Lord. But and then here's some Vicky. Hey Vicky, what's up? Vicky said right here, sometimes you feel like your life is not your own. Yes, Vicky. Yep. Vicky said, and Vicky knows sometimes you feel like your life is not your own. And then also one of our guests said, I'm an unpaid caregiver for my mom. Oh, that's actually Michelle talking. Michelle didn't show your name on that one. I think you're not. She said, I'm an unpaid caregiver for my mom and my ex-husband. rare for people to do this. Many do it for money and control of the loved one. I mean, you're right. My brother's in his early 30s and he's caregiving for my 85-year-old father. He quit his job and gave it his all. I mean, I'm also going to help. I always kick it and do anything I can, but he gave his life. I did it with my mother, my grandmother, but he's doing it also, and I commend him for that. But you're so right about that. So, Amber, one more time, just to tap back one more time on that one, then we're going to go to the next question. How do you control your emotions? You're 27 years old. How do you control your emotions? How do you stay out of a danger zone for yourself?
A lot of times I do have to escape. Like I'll go drive. I go for long drives. I mean, it's been raining lately, so haven't been able to walk.
Yeah.
But yeah, I go for long drives. Like I will vent to my boyfriend about it.
Okay.
And he gives me he's like the opposite. Like he's very calm, cool, calm, collected. He has like zero stress. So I'm like, must be nice. So I'll
hey, he has zero stress. He's good.
I'm like, let me give you a little something. Let me sprinkle some stress.
Let your life up a little bit.
So yeah, so he's like my kind of like my counselor, I would say.
Wow, that's beautiful.
He's like my counselor.
Wow.
But yeah, I would usually just go for a drive. Like I feel like exercise too. Like when I do Pilates, I mean, like that's a hard workout. So like I put my energy and stuff in that. I'm trying to do kickboxing, but yeah, that's what I do.
On that one, honey. Yawn. Yeah. You're telling me Pilates. You're gonna give me the kickboxing now. Okay.
Kickboxing, that's a whole workout.
Girl, yeah, that's I'll throw these knees and these hips out or something.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's you know what? When I hear you saying that you've also allowed your boyfriend to be a part of your intimate space, so many times we are so afraid for people to come into the inside of our real spaces. Like I didn't want anybody around my grandmother. I didn't want anybody around my mother. I didn't want them it was a few people, but it was very rare for me. That space was so intimate. And to say that you have someone is cute because you said he's kind of like a counselor, which is really, really fun. And, we do counsel one another. There's been times when you said to me, I want to let you know, and you won't even realize it's the exact time I needed to hear you say, I want to let you know you're doing great. I appreciate everything you're doing with me and with the real estate. And then you'll tell me other stuff. And it's just, I would have needed to hear it at that moment. That's counsel for me as well. So that's what we do with one another. And speaking of when we're talking about real estate, here we go. For anyone that's out there that has a real estate need, give the Davenport Realty a call, Davenport Realty Group a call at 323-239-0239. That's 323-239-0239. All of your real estate dreams are just a phone call away. Amber and I are actually going to be doing some buyers events online. We had a huge turnout last week. We had 26 people, including her boyfriend, came out. We had an amazing time. Shout out again to Movement Mortgage. But we also had people that said, I would have loved to, can you do it online? So we're going to be doing that as well. And that is, can you believe what the statistic, 53 million people, you see, Michelle said, I am taking care of my family and I'm not getting paid. Now, I was going to ask you, how has it impacted your relationships? We have 10 minutes to go. Here's a better one. What is your advice? Because this is a conversation that, we think about packing things in 1 hour. And as I always say, I want to thank everyone that's tuning in tonight. Please, please spread the word. DAVI Davenport Live is all about positivity. Also, if you know of someone out there that has a great story that you believe that I need to tell, someone that it can be. And we're celebrating women this month. I celebrate women every day. I celebrate men every day. But let's just say, so since we're doing it with the nation, if you have an amazing woman that that started her business from scratch, really, now she's motivating and just not because anybody can just build for themselves. But what about when you build, like my friend who owns Essie Marie Dressings? I love you, Ashonia. I love you. She has Essie Marie's Dressings. And they're just but she also helps the community. And I love that. So if you know of someone that has a story, of someone that's doing great things in the community, they're feeding the homeless. Shout out to Inglewood Barbie in Chicago, girl. I'm proud of you, of everything you're doing. A very close friend of my son's father, and just gotten to know her through. We did the Oprah Winfrey show together one time. So shout out to you, Inglewood. You're doing great things. She's been sleeping under the viaduct with the homeless friends, as she calls them, for years and years. So if you know of someone that has a great story, that we need to tell, let's make it happen. For March, we're going to be celebrating Women all month. But if you know of anyone that you know, man or woman that you know, has a great story that we need to tell, please, please, please let us know. Lim Flowers, we love you. Lim said, God bless you, Miss Perkins. Love, love, love. And also Michelle said, true, true, true. What advice would you like to give someone that's out there? And I want you to give two components of it if you can, just briefly. Someone in general, what advice do you want to give? But I'd also like you to speak directly to a millennial that's taking care of because it's a different component. You figure for me, I took care of my grandmothers in my 50s. Yes, I have a lot of life to live. I do, of course. However, no matter what happened, I thought she was going to live for at least 5 more years. I said definitely 3, and it ended up being 5, 6 months. What do you say just in general? What's something you want to say to the caregiver? And then what would you say to someone, just briefly, what would you say to someone that was a millennial that had to care for their loved one?
So to the caregiver, like, props to you. Shout out to you. Especially if that's like your full-time job and it's not even for a family member. Like if you're just doing it like like the LVNs and the caretakers, like in the nursing homes and everything.
They're doing a great job, 100%.
Yeah, like, even those, like, the patients could be cussing you out, the patients could be aggressive, and like, just to deal with those things, like, shout out to you.
Yes.
I would just say, if that is your passion and everything, keep going. You're making a difference, because a lot of times, it's hard for people. I mean, it's hard for everybody, but to be able to control yourself and still be in that space, just know that you're doing a great thing and that you're helping a lot of people. For the millennials, I would say, pretty much the same, just keep on continuing in what you're doing, but don't let that stop any path that you're trying to be on. As a millennial, just someone who's millennial goes up to like their 40s now. I forget how old we are. So I think I'm like at the tail end of the millennial space. I think I just missed Gen Z. So anyway, so I would say, just don't let that stop you from your dream, your goals, your business aspirations. Keep on really trying hard, and really pray about it, because your time will come. Eventually your time will come, and it's
Powerful.
just, yeah, just keep up the keep up the good work, because it's really hard. It's a really hard thing to do.
Your time will come. Your time will come. We have to think and thank you so much for sharing that, Amber, because a lot of millennials will experience caring for their loved ones. My son was at 8 years old helping to care for my mother. He literally was doing things and running and getting things. When I look back on it now, I try not to overlook that, because he was so small. And sometimes he'll kind of mention things to me, and I was so blocked on what I was doing to think about, what was going on. And so and then also Michelle said, beautiful, thanks for sharing. Give them their flowers while they're still alive. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. I love it. Guys, conversations like this one, the conversations that we have on DAVI Davenport Live, these are conversations that need to be had. These are things that must be talked about. Every show can't be about, none of my shows are going to be who slept with who, unless it's their husband or their date. And that's your business if that's uncomfortable for you. But for me, it's okay. God, forgive me. At the end of the day is that, it's the bottom line is that we have to support one another. I asked my son the other day, and I said, son, I go, if you have to ever care for me one day, are you ready for that task? And he said, oh, Mom, don't even ask me anything like that. Number one, I don't want, I said, no, it's very real. Like, and he said, of course I am. Of course I am. And I hope I'm working on making sure that, economically, he would be able to have whatever he wanted. And he's working on this well so that it wouldn't be just like with my grandmother. When I was there with my grandmother, I didn't have to worry about anything. It wasn't any money, but I never felt like I had to worry about anything. Like being with my grandmother was enough. I didn't care about what was outside going on. I didn't think about the money that I was missing or because my grandmother even said to me, it was winter when I got there. She said, girl, you need to come in the summertime. And I said, God didn't tell me to do that. Thank God I didn't, because God called her home in March. I wouldn't have made it to the summer. She was trying to think about me, but we have to do what you said. You're going to have your time. God rewards us for taking care of people that take care of us. See, I knew to do that for my mother and my grandmother because of what they had done for me. Lim knew to do that for his father and his mother because what they had done for him. And some others do it out of the kindness of their heart. And it's absolutely amazing, guys. Tonight has been an incredible show. I have some exciting news. Amber, don't go yet. I have something else I want to ask you with the guests, and it's a big surprise. I'm super excited, guys. Let me get a little bit of homework out the way so he doesn't get me. First of all, make sure that you tune in to LA Lim every with me. I'm going to share with everyone that the next 2 weeks are going to be on fire. Then I have one more question for you. The time is 58, might be 59, but I put it back a minute. Next 2 weeks is super exciting. Next, on the 17th of the month, I have the amazing Larry and Louisa Dunn joining me on DAVI Davenport Live right here, 6 to 7 p.m. It is a Sunday, guys. Make sure you're here. Be here or be square. I think it's there square, but you know what I mean. Join us for that. You might know Larry Dunn Orchestra, but you also might know him. He was one of the original Earth, Wind, and Fire members. We're also going to be talking about Louisa's debut song. She's been supporting her husband, and now she is out there rocking it out. On the 24th of the month, guys, here's some excitement. Guess what? We have the incredible Zeola Gay, Marvin Gaye's baby sister, is going to be joining us. They're having a huge celebration in Las Vegas, and I'm going out as her VIP guest, and we're going to be having Zeola on the show on the 24th to talk about the life of Marvin Gaye and some excitement that she has up her sleeve that's coming up. So we're super, super excited about that. Let's grab the last comments before we get off. LA Lim said, woo, woo, we love you. LA Lim's going to be here this coming Sunday. We're going to be at Vibratos celebrating Honeycomb like never before. Lim and I are going. He said, guess what? He's supposed to be traveling out of town, and he made it back. Michelle said, awesome, thanks. The Duns can't wait. We love you. And my girl Angela Hill said, hey, Davi, that's my sister right there. We love you. For everyone that tuned in, the question I want to ask you, Amber, before we get off, and thank you to everyone that chimed in today and everyone that's going to see this later. If you're out there and you're caregiving for a loved one, I want to just congratulate you. I want to celebrate you today. What did Michelle say? Give them their flowers while they're alive. So I'm giving you your flowers right now. Amber, I'm giving you your flowers. Michelle, I'm giving you yours, and everyone that's been a caregiver and loving them, because a lot of times the caregiver gets so burned out that they're just standing there feeling like a limp noodle. And it's not because they don't love their loved one. It's because they're human. It's because they're human. Amber, last thing I want to ask you, last question, 7 o'clock on the dot now. And that is, If you had to care for your sister full time, you mentioned this, that's the only reason I'm asking, would you be up for that task? Can you guarantee your mother that you are up for that task?
Yeah. Yeah. I would definitely need some help though. Like I would have to hire probably someone like a live-in or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I would definitely, I mean, I'm already her conservator, so
Sure.
yeah.
Very good. Well, excellent, Amber. I just wanted to ask you that question because a lot of times, my grandmother asked my mother, no matter what happens with Davi, no matter, because my grandmother was a little older at that time, and she said, no matter what happens, she's actually my father's age at the point. My father's 85. She said, are we ready to take care of Miles? We had to officially talk about in case this happened. And they said, we're up for the task. And I knew you would what your answer would be. Thank you so much to everyone that tuned in today. Amber, thank you so much for joining me. I love you. I love you. I love you. Stand by. Don't jump out yet. I want to make sure that we get a photo. So don't leave just yet. Guys, for anyone that's tuning in right now, thank you so much. You tuned into another amazing episode of Davi Davenport Live. We love you. This coming Sunday, LA Lim and I and the whole crew from DAVI, Radio Los Angeles, and Davi Davenport Live will be at Vibratos. Guys, we're going to be hanging out, rocking out with Honeycomb with all the excitement, and we need you there. Following that, on the 17th, Larry and Louisa Dunn will be in the house, in the studio with Davi Davenport Live as we talk about all the excitement that Larry has up his sleeve. I got a chance to see him play at the Catalina Lounge recently, and I was floored. I loved it. I love it. I have some more excitement up. One of my greatest friends, Mahesh, is going to be joining us, a superstar pianist that'll be joining us in the month of April. So stand by for that information. I love you guys. There's nothing to say. If you're seeing it now, if you're seeing it later, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, I love you so much. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone that participated. And to you, Amber, you are a total superstar. Guys, be careful out there. If you're driving in the rain, don't go anywhere, Amber. We're coming right back to you. I love you guys. I'll see you at Vibratos. Be there, be square, guys, because guess what? And it's a black and gold night. The girls said they're not messing around, and we're going to have some fun. Thanks, guys. I love you. Thank you so much. Make sure you check out LA Lim also on Sundays. Thank you so much. Vicky said, love you too. She said, love you 500, baby. She meant 500 times, baby. I love it. I love you guys. Thank you. Have a wonderful one. And Michelle, thank you so much for chiming in. She's, oh, two girls. Okay. I like the 500, Vicky. It was, I love you so much, Michelle. Thank you for chiming in. Even though she said she couldn't make it physically, she just had some things to get together. I appreciate you hung out with us today. I love you guys. I'll see you later. Be at Vibratos. Meet me there. I tell you, be there, be square. It's a sold out show, but let's see how much pull you have. Ow. Don't tell them you're looking for me. Okay. All right. I'm just joking. Bye, guys.